Hey friends, welcome back. So I did a poll on my Instagram stories to see what you all wanted to see. And I had a couple options, but one of which was propagating my Monstera. I am so annoyed that that won majority because I don't want to do it. And I prefer doing my big repots during the summer because I can do it outside and it can be filthy, but the people have spoken and they would love for me to get my table dirty. So let's do it.
Also, I'm not complaining because I obviously put it up as an option because I need to do it. It needs to be done. So the fault mainly lies on me, but we should share the fault because it's both of our faults, but mainly yours. Okay, let's go.
Okay, I have this IKEA shoe thing that I'm hopefully is gonna capture all the dirt because this Monstera it's a big pot. What is this, a gallon? 1.72 gallons. So I don't think it's gonna fit in here, but we're gonna have to try. All right, first things first, let's try to tip it over. This is gonna be quite difficult to get out, I think, of the pot. A bunch of little bugs flying around, so I don't know if those are predatory. Like, hopefully they're not thrips. They're just like fungus gnats. A little bit of root rot. Nothing crazy so far. But I mean, it is mainly, this is only roots. Oh, good heavens. I don't think this is gonna come out. I got a chiropractor. Oh my gosh. There is no way. All right, I got my super gross old scissors that are just for plant stuff. I know some people are so good about like disinfecting with alcohol and all of that before they use scissors. I don't wash the pots. I don't clean the scissors. I don't do any of it. Wow, do you see that? There's like 90% root in here. This is gonna have to be a time lapse. There is no way. Well, it's first of the month. Can you believe it? Where did the time go? 2025. I think this year for me, plant-wise, I'm looking to find ways to incorporate plants into the functionality of my home. Like right now, I just have a mainly a plant room. And I love that. That feels like very much a spoiled thing to have. I just really want more of like a plant wall and like more plant shelves. When my husband and I lived in Minnesota, we had plants kind of everywhere. We didn't have an extra bedroom, so they just had to be incorporated everywhere. And I miss that because I like looking at them kind of everywhere I go, but it is, I think, harder to maintain. Because it is nice having a room that's dedicated to plants, because then for watering and maintenance, it's kind of all right there. But I just love the look of plants everywhere. So that's my goal for 2025, plant-wise. What do you guys want to do in 25? Is it like repotting? Do you want more? Do you want less? I know some people are really wanting to downsize. I'm not wanting to downsize. I'm wanting to upsize. This is bananas. This is an only root plant right here. There is like no dirt. But first off, I don't want to do this. If I were like wanting to deal with the propagate process, I think I would just do a top cut right here and then just propagate this in water. But there's so, I don't know, if I take the time to detangle these roots, I can already have an established plant and not deal with the propagation process and all of that. So let's just do a time lapse of me working on these roots. This one has root rot. All right, here we go. Okay, I've already decided this is way too much work and I've only been at it for like 5 minutes. So I'm gonna cut where I've gotten some pretty nice, healthy, big roots, I'm gonna propagate, or I'm gonna cut there, and I think I'm just going to plant it. I mean, this should be good to go in soil, even with not as many roots, but these roots are healthy looking. So I wanna make that chop. So this one, beautiful top cut. And those are some good roots. Okay, so I'll plant that into one. And now the one I really wanted was the top cut of the vine that's left here, of this vine. So I'm going to continue at this root ball and try to get a couple of healthy roots so that I can take the top cut of this one and it be fully established on its own. Because the aerial roots on this were tucked into the pot, so there's some very thick, healthy roots. So if I can just get them separated, then we'll have something going for us. Okay, I got the top cut of the one I really wanted. Some good looking roots. I mean, the good thing about them is not only is there that main aerial root that is gonna turn into the primary root, is the secondary roots where there's these little ones coming off of this main one. So I'd say it's pretty established root wise. I just hope it takes to the soil and gets reestablished, because this is the one I wanted. Here, let me try to back it up so you can see. I just love all the fenestrations. Like, get out of here. Beautiful. All right, so let's go to my garage and let's pick out a pot. For this one, I'm thinking six inches, maybe 8. And then I need to pot that other one up too. I might try to find a fat nursery pot for that to go into. As far as this root ball, if you are in Kansas City and if you want this, send me a message. You can just come pick it up. I'll keep it for a couple of days after I post. I'm not gonna deal with propagating anymore or separating the roots anymore. There is this leaf that's attached to it, and there's plenty of nodes in here that you could propagate more as well. I just wanted the heavily fenestrated leaves for myself. All right, let's go to the garage. Okay, here's my pots. Nothing's been organized since we've moved, but for now, I'm thinking these two maybe. They look big enough. I just feel like a 6 inch is not gonna be enough room, even just because the way the aerial roots were growing, they were growing out and down. So if I smush them into a 6 inch pot, maybe that's all the space they would need there, but I don't want to bend the root down to fit. So I'm gonna go with these two and we'll see how they fit. We'll do a fit test. And because it's cold in Kansas City, I am going to wet these with hot water so that the cold terracotta doesn't shock the roots of my Monstera. All right, I'm gonna let these drip dry for a second before I do the size test. Really hope these work, because I don't have anything bigger than these two. I think this one's an 8 inch and this one's a 10, I think. Hopefully they work. If not, I'm kind of screwed, because no, they've got to work. There's no way those roots need more than that. The problem is if they both need the bigger one and I only have one. So we'll see. We will see. And the difference in size here seems dramatic. What size does this one say? Because this one still has the tag on it. 10 inches. Okay, I was right. So this is 8 and this is 10. So let's see. Mine's right here. Yeah, this is way too big. That would I feel like that would not, that's too big. Okay, so I'm gonna put mine in the smaller one, and I'm gonna go back into the garage and I'm gonna see if I find something similar size for the other one, because this one's just too big and I don't wanna do that. So BRB. Okay, you're gonna call me crazy. I went down to a 6-inch pot. Why I'm gonna do that is because A, I had nothing in between, and I only have this one, and I want my cutting to have the best chance. For the cutting, I'm gonna hold, now mind you, I hold on to my plants and make sure they're like established before I sell them, because I don't wanna sell someone a plant that like is gonna die. But what I'm gonna do with this one is I'm going to cut off some of the roots. It'll be fine, it'll survive, but that way it can establish new roots and it'll fit in here really nicely. It actually does not need that many cut off to fit, but that way it can be snug and just, it'll grow new roots. And if it doesn't, then we can start all over again and propagate it. No big deal. Actually, I did not have to cut off much. This will be just fine. Okay, yeah, that's gonna work. That'll be just fine. It'll be a little snug, but it'll help it get reestablished quickly. All right, I brought my dirt over. My dirt mix right now is nothing that I'm crazy about. It's kind of just leftovers of a bunch of things I've had. I'd prefer there to be more like bark in here and more perlite. Oh, hold on, I have a bag of bark in my closet. Okay, yay, I had this in the closet. In the winter, if I'm in a pinch, I like this bag because it comes with bark, but it also has some chunkier perlite and some charcoal in there too, all really good for aeration. And it says for orchids, but you can use it for anything. I like to add it into the soil I already have to make it more chunky. In the summer, when I do a lot of repotting, I follow this video and I like it because it's cheaper for one, but it is, you know, I can really customize how it looks and how it feels. If you repot a plant once a year, you do not need to go all out and buy all these big bags of dirt. You can really just do whatever basic one is available. I still recommend adding in some chunkierness to it, just because homes are usually not warm tropical places. They may be warm, but they're still not the exact environment that a plant is used to. And if you are watering your plant and it stays wet for too long, then you're creating an opportunity for rot. So the better airflow, the better. The more airflow, the better, and the chunkier it is, tends to be more airflow. So I'm gonna add this to my box of dirt I already have. In this box, I have a bunch of cocoa coir right now, and I have some perlite, and like a couple random balls of leca. Like I said, I emptied what I had left and I put it in here. Next summer, I'll make more videos on soil and what I do, but for now, this is what we've got. Oh, it smells so good. The bark smells like nature, if you can believe that. Well, what'd you guys do this weekend? Anything fun? Here in Kansas, we are, well, when I'm recording this, which is Friday, we're preparing for a huge snowstorm here. And ironically, where I grew up in Minnesota, you know, we had snowstorms all the time, but with, you know, global warming and all that jazz, like things are so different. Minnesota definitely gets less snow than it did when I was growing up. But my parents were just in town visiting, and my mom kept joking to like everyone we ran into. It was like, yeah, we're having to leave Kansas to get away from the snow. We're having to go home to Minnesota to get away from the snow. I'm like, ha 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 ha. But it's crazy. We're supposed to get 8 to 13 inches where I'm at, and I'm on the north side, and it'll be interesting because Kansas City, they do pretty good, but they just don't have the same infrastructure for snow removal as, you know, some of the more northern areas, because they just don't get it as often, which is understandable. That means snow days, Zoom, and calling off from school. So tell me where you're at. Is there a lot of snow right now, or are you all sunshine? I know I have quite a few people that watch my stuff that are in India. I have no concept of what weather looks like in India. It'd be fascinating to know. Feel free to tell me what the weather is where you're at. Okay, here she be. Okay, time for my cutting. Roots and some good looking foliage. There's some very happy, thick roots right here. Thick, 2 C's. Monstera, I know, is like the most popular houseplant. And there's reason for it. It's absolutely beautiful. The foliage is stunning. The leaves are large. They're fairly easy to take care of. They like embody what tropical places look like almost. They're just so beautiful. So tell me, do you have a Monstera in your home? And if not, why? Is it space? Because you can always get them smaller. You can start small. You don't have to get the big ones. I had a friend who had family in areas where they just they chop these things down off trees because they're invasive. It's crazy to think about. A friend of mine, when she repots things, and I don't know why these things bother me. It should not bother me how someone else repots their plant, but Shelby, I'm talking about you. When she repots, she does not bring the dirt all the way to like the top of the pot. She like leaves it low like this, like sometimes lower. I'm like, what are you doing? You still have like a fifth of the pot to fill up. But whatever, it literally doesn't matter because her plants often look better than mine. So who am I to say anything? Okay, let's get this watered and cleaned up. I emptied the tray outside. There is dirt everywhere. Definitely going to need to get a bigger one of these things. I know there's a lot of people that have those foldable ones that you fold out and then you could like clip the corners together. I'm gonna have to look for a bigger one of these if I'm gonna do any more repots in the house during winter because I'm not doing this outside. Fun story, it was my first fiddle I had gotten, speaking of fiddles, this was in a trash can. Anyways, where was I going with that? So my first fiddle I'd gotten from IKEA, and this was like 2019, super, super long ago. And I bought a pot that was way too big for it. I knew nothing about like plants other than you put them in dirt and then you water them and then they're supposed to grow. So naive. I bought a pot that was way too big and I went to repot it, and this was like winter time in Minnesota, so very cold. I had done most of the process inside and then I went outside to shake off the dirt off the fiddle. Instant frostbite, died like instantly. The leaves went dark and went wah. I was like, after just like a couple of seconds outside, this is gonna die on me. What was I thinking? So yeah, I am not doing any of that. I will not shake off the dirt outside because that's a little bananas. Okay, all done. If you can believe it, that one Monstera turned into 3 Monsteras. And now instead of 1 Monstera to place, I have 3 Monsteras to place. Either way, I'm glad that I got this project done. So thank you all for forcing me with violence, really, to film this video, even though I didn't want to. If you want updates on how this second or the bee cutting does, being that I had to cut off some of the roots, feel free to follow my Instagram. It is @bubblyjew. There I do far more with like Instagram stories and things like that, keeping you updated on all the plant things that are going on in my life and in my personal life. All right, my next video will be on next Monday. I'm gonna put on Instagram stories a few video options, so if you wanna have a say in what you see next, please follow me there and vote. All right, guys, have a great week and thanks for watching. And if you ever consider buying a Monstera, you should buy this one. For sale soon once established. Okay, bye.